society, despite the obvious poor conditions, is asinine. But for the most part, that person will mind their business, since it's completely outlandish. This is a simple concept to understand, in my opinion, so why are there some people actively trying to silence us black people in America for protesting against the murders of hundreds of brothers and sisters by police across the country? Every single day, black men, women, and children are subject to racism. Every single day. It's not always blatant, but it's there. Whether it's the looks we get from others in public, the people who walk across the street, the way we're appreciated for talking proper, being one of the good ones. It's still racism. I face it, you face it. This racism is everywhere in our society. It has been plaguing us since the founding of our country. Slavery, Jim Crow laws, over-policing in low-income communities. Regardless of what it is, there have been tactics in place for centuries that are designed to keep people of color, from truly being equal to white people. As black people, we feel as if we've dealt with the racism for far too long in a society that claims to be so supportive of us. They support our culture and the things that we stand for, but are quick to see us as nothing more than thugs or criminals when they encounter us in day-to-day life. This has been shown by the unlawful deaths of Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Eric Garner, Philando Castile, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and countless others. You may think that the number of people you see listed on social media is small, but what you fail to realize is that these are all people, and they all had lives. They had families that they cared for and loved, just like you. They had hopes and dreams, people they loved and fought for. They had feelings of love, hate, sadness, anger, empathy, and everything in between. They had aspirations for the future that they can now never achieve because law enforcement saw it right that they play judge, jury, and executioner. This has to change. In no way do we as black people deserve to be slaughtered for the same crimes our white friends get a slap on the wrist for. Sorry. People across the world have seen the reality of the situation. Before our very eyes, we are seeing how harshly police treat their communities. Please, just go on Twitter, go on social media or something. The videos are there. The police militarize their neighborhoods instead of properly serving and protecting. Seeing people of color is nothing more than a threat. This is why we protest. For years, black people across the country have been fed up with the conditions we are forced to endure. Men like Martin Luther King, Tupac Shakur, and plenty of others spoke out against these conditions over 20 years ago. And the fact that barely anything has changed is very telling us who we are as a society. Instead of allowing the racist ideas of the past to survive and continue to work their ways into the police force and the rest of our society, we must not only combat these ideas head on, but work to educate everyone around us so that we can truly put an end to racism. This fight for equality does not end when people stop posting about it on social media. The fight for equality ends when we no longer have to be afraid to go to protest due to the fear of police killing us. The fight for equality ends when our kids are able to walk among each other freely without being judged. The fight for equality ends when everyone is educated on the history of our country and knows that racism is not only wrong, but unacceptable. The fight for equality ends when we are truly equal. It is my duty as a journalist to spread information and awareness on the subject at hand. And it's my duty as a black man to fight for true equality. I will never stop using my voice to fight for what I believe in, and I urge you to do the same. Thank you, I'm not done, but thank you so much. We live in an unprecedented time in history, one where we all have platforms to speak out against the racial injustices and brutalities that plague our society. I know that you guys may not feel like you have enough followers on social media or enough people looking at your Snapchat stories or enough people texting you every day, but I promise you, your opinion will change someone's mind. Your words will change someone's mind. That's what we have to fight for. I urge you to use your voice to fight for change, even if you're risking ridicule from your peers or family members. That does not mean that you should stop fighting for something that's so obviously fair and for the better. Instead of staying silent because you may not personally experience these injustices, start to speak up. No person deserves less opportunity because of their color of their skin. The idea itself is rooted in ignorance and belligerence. I really wish there was more that I could say on this matter, but I want this platform to be open for everyone. I want you guys to speak out against what's wrong. We're the future of this nation, so please, let's start acting like it.
Stevenson. I was a student at Stevenson. I'm now a junior at NIU. Can y'all hear me?
Speak up right into it.
Can y'all hear me? Okay. I wrote this in sophomore year of Stevenson, but it still holds true today because we're still going through the same stuff. It's called Racism, the History That Continues to Repeat Itself. Can I touch your hair? Is that your real hair? Now that we're friends, can I say the N-word? I mean, I can't be racist. My best friend is black. As a young girl, I learned what microaggressions were. Microaggressions are everyday verbal, nonverbal, and environmental slights, snubs, and insults, whether intentional or unintentional, which communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative messages to target persons based solely upon their marginalized groups. In Buffalo Grove, Illinois, 2005, I began to hate everything about myself and about my culture because I didn't look like the other children at my school. My lips were too big, my nose was too big, and my ears were too small. Everything that was seen as normal in the black community made me feel like I was on display as a zoo animal to the children at my school. Black was not beautiful to me, and it seemed like it surely wasn't beautiful to them. I grew up in a family of 5. I was the youngest, and I had the lightest skin of my family members. My brother Kevin was the darkest, and over the summer he got extremely dark. And when he went back to school, one of his friends thought it would be so funny to bring cotton balls and throw them at him and say, "Keep picking." I remember that day. I remember that day because it was the day I realized that being black was like a plague in our neighborhoods. It was hard for him especially because it was around the time of Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin was around the same age as my brother. No, we didn't live in a bad neighborhood, but we never knew if it was going to be someone's bad day that was going to end our lives. Every time the news that we heard about another murder of an unarmed black man or woman, it just felt like the police officers were having a field day. And you can say that not all cops are bad, but how would you feel if it felt like they were using your ethnic group for target practice? I felt helpless. Day after day, year after year, there was another poster child for police brutality. Every death killed a little piece of me each time. I felt like all I could do was watch the news and stay informed. But every time I did, the word acquitted kept coming up. Acquitted meant that people were committing these heinous crimes and let off with hardly any punishment. It just kept happening, and no one was doing anything about it. Helpless, hopeless, and scared. My family got a pamphlet from the NAACP called the 411 on the 5-0. The pamphlet highlighted what to do if you were ever pulled over by the police as a black person. Along with that, my mom and dad created rules that were to be followed when we left the house. The fear that was instilled in us as young adults had put the pressure on us. My family began to stay inside more to ensure our safety. My mom and dad were worried about us being attacked at school because of our color. Though we were not physically attacked, nothing could have prepared us for the verbal attacks. For years, I found myself changing my appearance to mold and fit America's beautiful dream of what it meant to be pretty. I wished for lighter skin, lighter eyes, and more manageable hair. I believed that if I had these things, more people would not see me as a threat. I believed that my truth and my intelligence would no longer be questioned if I was white. When I would hear white people talking about black people poorly, I stayed silent. It was easier to be quiet or even make a joke about being black because it made them comfortable. Today, I'm tired of comfort for everyone else but black people. I'm tired of wondering who's going to be the next hashtag. Comfort is no longer an option. Every time we take 10 steps forward, we get knocked back 20. Do not let this movement be silenced. This should not just be a fight that lasts 10 days. Because for my black brothers and sisters, this fight lasts every day. There are protests happening in all 50 states and many nations nations around the world. We may not know the name of every black man and woman whose lives were taken at the hands of police, but we are marching here today for them. Fight for us and the generations to come, and continue to make the conversation uncomfortable. Thank you. Everyone hear me okay? Good? Good? Louder? Everyone hear me okay? Great. Over the past week, I've heard stories of many people being silenced. This made me think of times when I've been silenced by peers, school staff, administration, silenced by the world. It took me a while to realize that it takes a lot to speak up and use your voice, but when you do, man, that voice is loud. It is loud. That voice can spark a movement, and it can bring awareness to real issues. So we stand here today demanding change. We are using our voices, and we will not be silenced. People will try to keep us quiet, but we will speak up. People will speak for us, but we will tell our truth. They will break us. They might try to break us, but they never will. And in the midst of racism and injustice, we will speak up and demand change. We are the future, and again, we are loud. I wrote a poem, and a few of you might have seen it over social media. I had a lot to say. The poem is called Freedom Seekers. My name is Ella O'Neill. Hello, welcome to the Land of Liberty Inn. We have many people of different backgrounds and an abundance of cultures, all included in your stay. We can 100% guarantee that you will enjoy your time here tonight. At the Land of Liberty Inn, we believe in equality for all, except for the people that are seen as lesser than. At the Land of Liberty Inn, we value your fundamental rights, except for when it becomes a problem for the privileged guests. At the Land of Liberty Inn, you are allowed to speak your mind, but only if you aren't making the guests too uncomfortable. You may buy some snacks, but make sure you don't look suspicious while doing it. And you may go for a jog outside, but you cannot be black. Feel free to go to bed with your spouse. Remember to always sleep with one eye open and to always let the cops enter unannounced. And go ahead and scream for help, but remember, no one is truly listening, even when they can hear you. Don't forget to grab your complimentary red hat, because we at the Land of Liberty Inn care so much about how great your stay was, especially to those who would rather stand up for your right to get a haircut, for their right to get a haircut, than your right to peace and safety. But after all, you are a thug. But hey, that's not all. You may wear whatever you want in the lobby, but make sure it doesn't consist of a hoodie or headphones, because someone might think you're an animal and kill you for sport. Don't party. Don't drive a car and get pulled over. Don't talk too loud. Keep your head down but look up at the same time, because it makes you look dangerous. And don't worry about the rest, because we got you covered. Our system is programmed to help you succeed, but it does, however, include racism and keeps black people and people of color down on their knees. And just a disclaimer, you may want to complain and ask us to change some of these policies, but these are set this way because this is the way it's always been, and this is what the founders wanted it to be, and we must respect that. So here is your key, and your room is upstairs, and remember not to break any rules. Call down if you need anything, because we care. We are so glad you get the opportunity to stay here with all the rest of the dreamers. This is a safe place where everyone is equal and happy. Again, thank you for choosing Land of Liberty Inn. Next, Freedom Seeker, I can take you right over here.
Black Lives Matter. We want justice. We want justice. Yeah. Hey, how y'all doing today? Hey, let me tell you guys, first and foremost, it's so reassuring and it makes me feel so comfortable and so at home. I've been living in Buffalo Grove for over a decade. Yeah. To see so many white faces, so many black faces, so many Hispanics, Asians, all here for one cause. It's beautiful. Let's make some noise for that. So right now in America, the tension is at an all-time high. And this is mainly because people are taking George Floyd's death and they're using it as a political issue. When in reality, this is not a Democrat issue. This is not a Republican issue. This is not even a black person issue. This is not even a white person's issue. This is an American issue, and this affects each and every single one of us. And let it be known today that racial discrimination and racial injustice in this country will never end if we use hate. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So let's do our part and let's use the privilege that this community has to spread love throughout the community. And hate is thrown out the window. We're done with that. We've been done with that. Because at the end of the day, no person's life should be worth any more or any less just because the color of their skin. I love all you. Thank you. I don't know about you guys. I'm tired of watching my brothers and sisters suffer at the hands of people who vow to keep us safe. That is not democracy. This right here is what true democracy looks like. I'm gonna give you some fun facts. The budget for the Chicago Police Department annually is $1.7 billion. To arm one cop with riot gear, with the cost of that, you could provide 55 medical personnel with full protective equipment. How many riot cops do we have in Chicago, but we have doctors in New York wearing garbage bags? And I think we should recognize this is not a problem of individual officers, this is the problem under which the officers operate. The system under which they do their jobs is inherently discriminatory. And I won't stand by that. I won't stand by that. I grew up, I was benefited by this country's systematic oppression. And I'm not going to let my brothers and sisters not share in these benefits with me. That's right. 40 million Americans live in poverty. 40 million. What? I can't even count that high. I mean, land of the free, I don't know about that. If we truly want liberty and justice for all, it is the responsibility of us, the American people, to fight for everybody in this land. When we have all 50 states in over 18 countries across the globe fighting for the same thing, you know there's a problem going on somewhere, right? Yeah! Do your own research. Educate yourself. The truth is there. It's in front of you. They want you to stay silent. That's how they keep their power. It is up to us to fight for the people who do not have voices because they were born without them, because of a system that has been around for hundreds of years that do not listen to us. We need to make our voices heard. I'm done being quiet. And let me tell you, I was downtown on Saturday, right? Some of you couldn't make it there, that's all right. But what I saw on Saturday made me sick to my stomach. A young girl no older than me had her brains bashed in by a police officer with a club for standing there with a sign in her hand and a fist in the air. I haven't been able to sleep. I really haven't. Imagine having to deal with that every day of your life. I don't know what that's like, but I will fight for my brothers and sisters who have to face that. I'm not quiet anymore. The fight doesn't end here. This is not a trend. This is a fight for the American people, for everybody you see around us. That's right. All right. We know what this is about. We know why we're here. Keep fighting. I'm done. Thank you, guys.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming again. My name's Sophia Van Opstel. I graduated from Stevenson High School in 2019.
Tough your lungs.
I'm currently majoring in criminology so I can change the world. I'm also trying to also add psychology to that. But right now I'm here to tell you my story.
You gotta yell at the top of your lungs. You gotta yell at the top of your lungs.
But I'm here to tell you my story.
Thank you.
Here, the volume on the side of it. Can you help me? Is it better? Yeah! I'm here to share with you my story. It may not be true for everybody, but it's true to me. It's mine. At the age of 6, I graduated from a predominantly Puerto Rican kindergarten in Chicago. While attending, it never occurred to me that there were other people who didn't look like me. I was surrounded by everybody who looked like me. I was also a little kid, and little kids don't pay attention to race or ethnicity. They just play with toys and have fun. That all changed when I started elementary school in Buffalo Grove. It was the first time I truly experienced what it felt like and what it looked like to be a minority. I mean, I went from a class where I looked like everybody, and now I'm like one of the only people of color in my class. I was often mistaken for other ethnicities, and people didn't really know what I was. For a long time, I didn't know what I was.
Yell, you gotta yell.
Yes, register to vote. I didn't grow up with my Puerto Rican side in the city. I actually grew up with my European and South American side in the suburbs. And one thing I knew for certain was that I'm Latina. Once I started to attend Stevenson High School, I noticed an increased interest in my race and ethnicity. The thing is, people often confuse the two, me included. Ethnicity is a shared cultural tradition, and race is the color of one's skin. And I always thought that being black was to be African American. And when asked if I was black, I'd simply say, no, I'm Latina. It wasn't until I worked at a predominantly Puerto Rican church in the city did I fully understand what I was. Being surrounded by others that talked like me encouraged me to discover more about my Puerto Rican culture and history, and it turns out I'm an Afro-Latina. I'm not just Latina. It's important for everyone to understand and embrace their roots, because in society, they're often a source of discrimination. So to answer the question, what have been my experiences living in a predominantly white suburban neighborhood, it's been uncomfortable. To always look different, to always be asked, can I touch your hair? To always have people look and tell me, look, I'm almost as dark as you. And to always be the only one asked what I am amongst my white friends. I'm American. I'm human. Stop treating me differently because of the color of my skin. Black Lives Matter. Don't let this just be a moment. Let it be motivation to make a change. Please go out and vote. Because this is done. We're done with this.
I'm 75. You need an old person. 75? Is that okay? Yeah. I don't know whether I can get up the steps.
Oh, we're not finished. We will have an open mic.
Can I just go? Because I want it. Would you read that for somebody? Just read it. That's all I want.
I mean, hey, I'll take the microphone gladly, but I really want y'all to hear this. As loud as I can.
Yes, sir.
Really close.
Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me loud and clear, right? All right. I'm so glad that you came up here and asked me to read this, because that shows that this isn't just an issue for young people, but old people as well. It's an issue for everybody. Everybody. You hear me? This isn't just political. This isn't black versus white. This isn't old versus young, liberal versus Republican. No. This is for everybody. Everybody. Sorry if it takes me a little bit to read this. I haven't read it yet, so. A man dies when he refuses to stand up for that which is right. A woman dies when she refuses to stand up for justice. It's all right. We refuse. You know what? We're gonna take a stand for that which is true. We're gonna stand up amid anything they can muster up, letting the world know that we are determined to be free. This is a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. No problem. Thank you. Of course. I want everybody to see this sign. I want everybody to realize this is real. Okay? This is real. This is something that's actually happening. You need to know this, alright?
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
So even though
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
never forget, I still have a dream.
I think that's Andrew Young.
Loretta Scott.
Loretta Scott King.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I have a dream.
Beautiful.
One day, this nation will rise up. Live up.
Can you hear me in the back? There's a sign. Where'd my sign go? Right here.
I have a dream.
When George Floyd called for his mother,
That one day on
he
the
called for every mother. All mothers were summoned when George Floyd called for mama, his mama.
I have a dream.
Raise your hand if you have a mother.
One day,
Keep your hand up
the
if
state
you
of
are a mother.
Mississippi, a state be transformed.
A little bit of all of us died.
Freedom and
George
justice. I have a
Floyd
dream.
was murdered. When a police officer put his knee on his neck for 8 minutes.
One day live in
46
where
seconds.
they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the
8
content
minutes.
of their character.
46
I have a
seconds.
dream today.
George Floyd was the spark, but he is not the source of what we're here for.
I have a dream. that one
Racism has
day
existed in this country for our entire existence.
in Alabama with this governor having his lips
But look around you. Hundreds of people have gathered here today. Earlier I was in Grays Lake. Last night, Lake Forest. Tuesday in Waukegan. In every state, in every community, good people are coming together. Edmund Burke said the only thing for evil to succeed is for good people to remain quiet.
That's right.
Good people were not staying quiet any longer. Now, our country was also founded on an ideal that all people are created equal. It starts, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Many will disagree that we're all equal. But these truths are not self-executing. They don't happen by themselves. That's why we're here. Now, someone said it's not about politics. I'm Congressman Brad Schneider. I'm going to tell you it is about politics. Politics means we are going to change the way we police in this nation. Politics means we're going to change the laws so we don't militarize our police. Politics means that we're going to guarantee everyone is equal before the law. George Floyd was murdered, but we will not forget him. We will not forget Breonna Taylor. We will not forget Ahmaud Arbery. But let's go further back. We will not forget Emmett Till. Look at the signs around you. We want justice. Black Lives Matter. Our hearts are broken, but we will not be bound. We stand together, and we will stand strong until we get the change we need to give everyone in this country the rights they deserve. We're together now, we're together tomorrow, stand together forever. Thank you.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream. I have a dream. One day, this nation will rise up.
We're going to have one more speaker, and then we're going to have an open mic for anybody who's experienced discrimination to come and share their personal story about it.
That all men are created.
Can you hear me in the back? Thank you. First of all, I want to thank every single person for coming out here today. We need you. Buffalo Grove needs you. Illinois needs you. The United States of America needs you. And let's take a moment to thank the reporters and journalists who came out here today. We need them too.
the young people today, the organizers, the young people in the audience, the young at heart, we need you to fight for what you believe in. We need you to fight for criminal justice reform, for the environment, for gun safety, for everything. We will not get it done without your support. We need you. Here's what I will promise you today. I'm the state representative, Dan Dennis. I'm going down to Springfield. I will follow the lead of my black colleagues, my Latino colleagues, and we will pass legislation. I will follow their lead, and we will build a world where we are equal, where there is justice, where there is fairness for everybody. To the organizers, we need you. We will get nothing done without your voice, without you being loud, and without you never giving up. Thank you so much, everybody.
And the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope.
Okay, just another reminder, still have water over there for anyone dehydrated, and also, echoing what state residents and federal residents in the United States, we are here to make change. Okay? And the first step in doing that is registering to vote, get your voice heard, to make a difference. So we have a voter registration group, one floor down there. Let's make a difference.
To struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day.
Can everyone hear me?
This will be the day.
Great, my name is Miguel Melgar. I'm the head debate coach at Buffalo Grove High School. The reason why I'm here is because I don't think that there's anything that could be more important to be a part of national conversation than issues of social justice. In the pathology of power, Paul Farmer said that structural violence is one way of describing social arrangements that put individuals and populations in harm's way. The arrangements are structural because they are embedded in the political and economic organization of our social world. They are violent because they cause injury to people. I have to publicly say that I am disgusted to my very core at some of the recent sentiment that I have heard echoed by some close friends, family, and colleagues about the state of structural violence in our country. The denial of the existence of a race-based social apparatus of opportunity distribution, and the idea that somehow the perpetuation of injustices are more the fault of the oppressed than they are of the oppressors. It is a sentiment that is latent with falsehood, riddled with faulty logic, and is rhetorically sinister to the millions of people who wade through an ocean of microaggressions and socioeconomic barriers on a daily basis. John Bouchard once said that forgetting extermination is part of extermination, because it is also the extermination of memory, of history, of the social. The forgetting is as essential as the event, in any case unlocatable by us, inaccessible to us in its truth. The last step of any genocide, of any culture war, of any system of oppression is to interweave the loose strings of consciousness in a manner that the inequalities of our fellow sentients can be tightly tied off in a tangled and inaccessible knot that makes it impossible to string back the potent realities of our suppressed collective memories. This is in many cases as intentional of an act as the dehumanization itself. And I refuse to accept this extermination of history in any social, political, or economic circle or academic circle of which I can attest to the grim realities of our collective moral fabric.
Well said!
Since the dawn of civilization, there has been a subconscious and dark desire to seek bondage over those who we perceive as the other, rooted in the identification of any arbitrary contingency that would somehow legitimize the thirst for power dynamics that seek to codify the superiority and inferiority of one over the other, the few over the many, and the majority over the minority. We must speak truth and shed light on the shadows of this darkened character. It is as real in 2020 as it was at any point in history, and it has not gone away.
When he said yes!
Many people are ignorant of the forces that be, but that does not mean that we can continue to live as if they are non-existent. Future generations will look back and they will hear the voices of allies just as loud as they hear the deafening silence of those who knew the injustices were occurring but refused to speak out. Say it with me. White privilege exists.
White privilege exists!
And so does black oppression.
And so does black oppression!
And if I have to recirculate an unprecedented amalgamation of theory, crit, and empirical evidence to prove the extermination of that fact, then that's what it'll take. I don't know what the history books will say about the narratives of justice in response to the George Floyd protest, but I do know what they will not say. That our message wasn't credible, that our arguments lacked citations, or that we stood on the wrong side of academia. The revolution will not be televised, but I can assure you that it will be people-to-people. This moment, right now, in 2020 is our civil rights era. And I hope that you never forget how much is really at stake, because this movement has only just begun.
I say to you today, my friend,
No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace.
so even though
What does that really mean?
we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow,
Thank you.
I still have a dream.
If I bought a house next to yours
It is a dream
and I trust it,
in the American
what does it do to your value, to the value
I
of your
have a
house?
dream.
He hit it.
One day,
He hit it.
If I bought a house next to you and I trust it, it devalues your life. If you stand next to somebody who's being trashed, who's being murdered, it devalues your life. To me, that's what no justice, no peace means. If you don't have justice, I don't have peace. It is my responsibility to give you justice so I can have peace. I am not a public speaker. This is not my profession. I am a healthcare provider. Personal story.
sweltering with the heat of
I love it.
oppression.
5 years ago, I was driving down Buffalo Grove.
Freedom and justice. I have a dream.
I drove past the cop, a Buffalo Grove police officer. I
My
dressed
poor
up
little
as usual.
children,
I checked where my wallet was.
where they will not be judged
I
by
asked
the
myself
color
if my
of their
insurance
skin,
was
but by
valid.
the content of their character.
I asked myself if there's anything wrong with my car. Many of you cannot relate to that experience. That experience is not on TV, it's not national, it's my experience. As the cop drove by, he waved at me. Or first, he looked at me and he waved at me with a big smile. I was confused. I turned left on Clinton from Buffalo Grove. I came across another police officer. Same thing. I tensed up like this and that's like twice. This officer unlike lightning, struck the second time. And he waved at me. A week later, I moved to Buffalo Grove. I have been here for 5 years. I bet you moved to Buffalo Grove because of the good school. That's why I moved here. I bet you moved here. You moved your life, your children, your family to Buffalo Grove because of the nice parks and the walk pathways and less crime. Not me. I moved because somehow down within me, I believe the cops here won't shoot me dead. They can wave at me like that. Many of you will not relate. This is not on TV. This is not an international abstract. I'm telling you my story. I'll tell you another story. 3 weeks ago, I was driving down Waukegan Road about to make a left on Deerfield Parkway. 1 a.m. I just came from a long shift. I have a lot of patients with COVID. I'm losing a lot of patients. I'm tired. As I'm driving down Waukegan Road, approaching Deerfield Parkway. I get pulled over by a car. I drove 2 blocks to a bank. It's right there at the corner of Deerfield Road Parkway and Waukegan Road. I specifically drove to the front of the bank. Why? Because I was praying the cameras would catch my
Colorado.